I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley lately, and one feature I loved there was fishing. But these days, I don't really have the time to play the game since every time I boot up Stardew, I just time travel 8 hours into the future. I wish I could just fish without all of that hassle and responsibility of my farm, you know? Until I remembered, I'm an indie game developer. I could just make my own fishing game. So here's how I made Shoreline, a fishing-based desktop pets. So hi, how's it going? The name's Hilarious, and another feature I loved when playing Stardew was the aquarium. Look, I have one here, I have one here, and I have another one here. Look at them. So an idea popped into my mind. Why don't I just make my PC an aquarium? No, not like that. I figured desktop pets would be easier to make than an actual fishing game. The plan was to have a fishing pond at the bottom of your screen that you can just click in order to start fishing. And once you catch a fish, it plops onto your screen, and there you have it, a random fish to fill your desktop with. There are other things I wanted, like a shop to upgrade your fishing rod and stuff, and a save and load system to keep fish that you like in order for them to be summoned again when you restart the game. So the first thing I did for the game was make art, because this is my comfort zone and I don't want to code yet. So I started with the basics with like the pond, the shop, and the saved fishes storage, the UI for the fishing mechanic, which is totally original, and of course, the fishes. There are more kinds of fishes that I want to put in the game, but for now I have made 5 common rarity fishes that you can get. The tilapia, flounder, anchovies, koi, and tuna. I get the tilapia and the flounder being a reasonable size, and then I look at the tuna and whoa, big boy. So these are the final sprites I made for them. For the anchovies, they're small but they swarm, so I want them to be like that in the game too, which I think would be nice. That's about all I need for an MVP. No, not most valuable player. A minimum viable product. So now, it's time to code. Minus Pete. It does not work. The problem was the last time I coded for my own games with an actual language was, what? Almost 3 years ago? The last game I made was made on Scratch, with blocks. So I knew it was gonna be a challenge, but I wanted content, goddammit. So I opened Godot documentation and got to work. The first thing I made was the main scene with the pond. Detecting a mouse hover and a mouse click was easy enough. The harder part was the thing that pops up when you click it. The actual fishing game. I took heavy inspiration from Stardew, of course, and I got it to work. Almost the same. This is the extent of my coding knowledge. So I went to a place where bad codes can become decent. YouTube tutorials. There's this guy called the Buff ED. The Buff. Whatever. He basically recreated the whole fishing mechanics of Stardew. But I think it's slightly broken now? I'm not sure. But reading his code made me learn a lot of things I needed. Learn meaning Control-C, Control-V. But hey, it's classy stealing, okay? I learned the code before I took it. But I still took it. But to be fair, I only took the rod movement code, which is probably the hardest one there. I detect the clicking by a giant button plastered into the screen, connected to the hook node. Then I plopped an area 2D into that bad boy and done! So proud of myself, even though I took like 50% of this code. Then I made the fish that you'll be catching. I added a fish type because different fishes would have different difficulty to catch. The easiest ones being tilapia and the flounder, while the harder ones are the big boy tuna and the very pretty koi fish. The anchovies and somewhere in between. Then I made it move around the bar with different speeds and intervals depending on the fish. The hardest part of it was learning how to interpolate positions. It may sound easy to you coders watching, but it took a lot for me, okay? Then I plopped an area 2D to that bad boy too and made it so that the progress bar go up when you're reeling in the fish, meaning the two areas are colliding, and then it goes down when you're not. Easy fishing UI, done. Then it's time to make it appear when you click the pond, and it took me a couple of hours to do that too. Why is coding like this? It's like you know what you want to do, but you have to say it in French for it to work. Oui? Like it's a matter of just knowing or not knowing things. If and then statements are my best friends. Like, I showed my programmer friend my bad if and then statement noodles of a code, and within like 5 seconds, he gave me a cleaner way to do it. They do the same thing, just more efficient. Anyway, I got into a tangent. To add a child node, apparently you need to instantiate it first. I don't even know what that means, but now it's done, at least. Then connecting these two to interact was another problem. Signals, which I normally use to connect nodes, were acting weird if the node is instantiated. I wanted the UI to tell the pond when it's fishing, so you can't keep clicking it to fish. What I used was the getParent feature of GTScript, since the pond will always be the parent of the fishing UI. But you know, desktop pets needs to have a transparent background, so I thought, why not do that now? And this became a whole ordeal. I tried so much things to make it look transparent, and nothing was working. Then I saw a forum that said Forward Plus projects act weird with the transparent feature, and I had to use compatibility. And my game, which was almost into a playable state, was made in Forward Plus. I started panicking and trying to put it into a new project, and then I can just switch it here. So now that works. And now we have a pond, a fishing system, a transparent background, but no fish. So let's get started on that. I put them all into one scene with an animated sprite to switch appearances. Then I made a simple AI with a state machine thingy. It's just an Enum. And I had it vary speed depending on the fish type. Now connecting the fish type was a mess. The code was in the fish in the UI, which is about 3 nodes away. At first I tried forcing it with a getParent feature like I did before, chaining variables after variables until I get the node that I needed. Then I thought, this is silly. There's probably an easier way to do this. So I thought about global variables, which would have been useful for the pond and UI predicament, but now I can communicate between nodes that are far away what the fish type is. So when I just instantiate and add this to the node to the main scene when the fish is caught, I can summon a fish. And there it goes. So I made the limit to where they can go, and if they exceed that limit, their state resets, which would make them go inside this screen again. But it does make them freak out a bit when they're trying to do that. A lot of the movement code that I use was made from a tutorial from Script Blocks, where he made an actual Stardew aquarium in Godot. So, shout out to him. Then the finishing touches are added. I added the looping animation so that they're just not static. I made the anchovy into a particle node so they'll look like a swarm, which is nice. I like it. Then I added bubbles they emit when they're moving around. One last thing I needed to figure out was having the ability to click through the game to access other apps in your PC. And I cannot figure that out. There is no twist, there is no punchline. I do not get it. They say I needed to use window nodes and stuff, but it's just so messy. It's barely working, so I gave up on that for now. So in a way, it's still not a desktop pet, more like a transparent fishing game. But now it's done, so time for a bit of testing. I told you it's a tilapia.
Oh my god, this is... Oh! I'm still here. Okay,
Oh yeah, that's a bug that goes twice. I don't know why that happens.
all those years of fishing in Stardew Valley is not paid off.
And yep, it's working, even though it's very scuffed. For some reason, they all seem to flock in the upper right corner. Their AI was supposed to be random, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing things in my code, but there you go. A calm, I think, but definitely a fishing desktop pet, which is not really a pet yet, but whatever. Let's just catch one more fish before the video ends, and oh, subscribe.